Good evening. How are you? Well, it's about 60 degrees out, according to Jefferson, and the humidity is about 40 and the wind's about 7. So we're having one of those days. We're crossing over from one season to another. As you've seen from some of the pictures I've sent out, and what you can see as I walk is that we have a colorful display as we go into the winter months. And then there's another spectacular view of nature, and it is the limbs of trees bare, almost as if they're reaching up into the sky. Now, closer to home, we have the reality in neighborhoods across the country with people from other countries watching us and wondering how we're doing and what we're doing. Kamala Harris just got off the stage earlier today with former First Lady Michelle Obama. And she talked about how Trump was too afraid to debate her again. And Kamala was in Texas yesterday and had people testify as to what the Texas law meant when it removed a woman's dominion over herself. We see the polls are on a knife edge, and we don't know how predictive they are, if at all. Some are said to be more accurate. They claim those are the ones in the battleground states. In a way, that makes sense that a lot of people would be measuring there. But it's clear that you can't know with a poll the correspondence between the poll and those who will come out to vote. And this appearance in Michigan today with Kamala and Michelle was extraordinary. They had to find extra room for it. Now, the early vote is large, and in past presidential elections for years, that has encouraged us to believe that the Democrats were on the case, and that on election night, we might see an early return from the Republicans, but as the mail came in and the absentee ballots came in, then we would know what the fight was really about. And that's where we are right now. We look at those institutions that are supposed to report to us, like the Washington Post and the LA Times, and they fail us. And why do they fail us? Because the almighty dollar distorts almost anything you can imagine. We see that the Department of Justice, for example, warned Musk, hey, what are you doing? You shouldn't be doing that. Although they didn't make it as strong as I just said it. And what is Musk doing about it? Well, he's not whimpering or running away. He's resumed. There's no bite in these guys. If we learned anything from this election, it is that we can't trust our leaders. We can't trust them to do the hard fighting. And I see this in my private life as a lawyer, how lawyers pull back from actually fighting for their clients. A lot of them are facilitators. And we've seen two kinds of lawyers throughout this entire mess going back to 2015 with Trump. One kind of lawyer sees an advantage in being as corrupt as Trump and doing whatever he says, no matter what their education and legal experience tells them is the right thing to do. And then there are the lawyers who actually investigate and prosecute them. And for my money, there's only one prosecutor who stayed true to the course, and that's D.A. Bragg in Manhattan. I know that the special counsel is doing things, but damn it, he pulls his punches, And you can't fight if you're pulling your punches. You can't call yourself a newspaper if you don't endorse. You can't say you really care about the people when you would actually promise to reduce their taxes, when in fact, in truth, you, Trump, only intend to reduce the taxes of the most wealthy in the nation who need the least help of anyone. We watch people fail us, and it's an old saw in public or private life. You find out who your friends are. You find out who has courage when, as Bobby Kennedy said, when the going gets tough, the tough get going. Well, we found out this nation is sprinkled wide with people that aren't tough and that don't fight and don't push back. And why are we lucky? We are lucky that Kamala Harris and Tim Walz have stepped out. And because of it, they've been a catalyst for change. They have been the leaders in nothing less than a movement to take America into the future. Not take it back, take it into the future. Show to people that you can have an opportunity, no matter your color, your religion, your sexual preference, that you can be treated and have equal justice before the law, which is alien, entirely alien, interesting word to use, to Trump. And we're about to have in New York, at Madison Square Garden, a demonstration hearkening back to one with Nazis in New York that I believe his dad participated in. This is what America has become, and this is what we're fighting to change. We're fighting to change as we go forward so that you and I and everybody we know cares for each other, is not afraid of each other, is not out to strike each other down, is not out to steal something for ourselves at the expense of others. That's who Trump is. That's who his people are. I don't know if you've seen any of these ads in which they stop them, that is the MAGA nuts. They stop them and ask them questions, you know. And what does DEI mean? They have no idea, none at all. They just sort of know that's not a good thing. Question after question they're asked, and they have no foundation for their opinion except to be cultish, to just be angry. Non-whites are coming to America, really. And when did you just wake up to that fact? The lady in the harbor, the Statue of Liberty, do we still stand by that? What we put on our various buildings, the Lincoln Memorial, the Jefferson Memorial, do we mean those things? I believe we do. Something that gives form and purpose to a life is something to be embraced. A person who invites you to be desperate and to hate and to fear and to be insecure and thereby to manage and control you, who could possibly want that with a minimum of intelligence and attention to what is going on? Is it possible in this day and age to have such a discussion about fascism and not know what it is? I heard an expert on fascism. It was today or yesterday, I think it was yesterday. And she was saying, hey, this isn't like really fascism. Fascism involves violence. Where was she on January the 6th? What goddamn world is she in? And why does nobody correct her when she says that? I spent a fair amount of my life cross-examining experts, but also hearing them and deciding whether what they say is persuasive or not. And oftentimes, there's nothing as germane as saying fascism isn't fascism unless it has violence. And if I got her on, I didn't really mean that, I didn't really say that. That's what these people do. We have to have a firm understanding of what is really going on. And perhaps we learn best when people walk out of the Washington Post for their failure to publish the editorial endorsing and supporting Kamala Harris. Perhaps we see best what Trump is about from his highest, most intimate advisors telling us what he's about. We have to know from what happens in a courtroom when he's found guilty of crimes, when there's a judgment that he cheated in business, there's a judgment that he abused a woman. How is that person even eligible to work in a McDonald's? So, I'm sorry, it's a little bit rambling. My basic attitude is optimistic. And I can't explain it. It just feels the push, the optimistic, we're going to win push from Kamala was holding together those of us who know we can do better, know we must do better, and know that any alternative puts our nation and our lives at risk. So that's what I got to say this evening. I'll be out tomorrow. Be well, and I'll talk to you then. Bye-bye.